Inside Foos presents FoosTalk Live.
And it was awesome to have all of us in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
I think you were a lot taller than I remembered, and Mark was a lot shorter. Is how it comes to me.
Jim, you were a lot fatter. You were a lot fatter than I remember, and that was like just 2 weeks ago at Portland. So how you like that?
Adam Gilson, welcome to FoosTalk Live.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. A real honor, and I really appreciate you brought me in on a night that Mark's not here.
Yeah. It's FoosTalk Live.
You talking to me?
Compelling and lively banter.
Are you going to talk to us?
Talking foosball.
Foosball was how I measured my value as a man. You took that away.
Players and fans, promoters and pros. Unedited and raw.
Talk.
Living in the moment.
We have a lot of important things to talk about.
All while practicing social distancing.
Cool. We'll talk. No big whoop.
Let's get this thing started. FoosTalk Live. Coming to you live from the studios of Inside Foos, it's the 66th episode of FoosTalk Live. Brought to you by InsideFoos.com, offering monthly subscriptions with access to some of the most exciting matches ever recorded, plus live tournaments, pre- and post-show analysis, interviews, and original programming. Sign up now at InsideFoos.com. Brought to you by ProtectoFlex, the world's premier safety accessory. Go to Protecto-Flex.com. Brought to you by 518 Prints, one of the best printers of promotional items, t-shirts, hoodies, and foosball apparel. Visit 518prints.com. Brought to you by Foosballers the Movie. This Joe Hesslinger foosball documentary, now available as a worldwide download at foosballersthemovie.com. And brought to you by United States Table Soccer Organization, the USTSO, helping to usher a new era of competitive foosball. Become a member at usafoosball.com. And brought to you by Foosball Clubs USA, promoting foosball through school systems all over the United States. Visit foosballclubsusa.com to make a donation today. Well, hey there, it's Tom Robinson. We're back together again, another live show this time. We are the 66th episode of FoosTalk Live. And of course, talking about this beautiful game called foosball is always a whole lot more fun.
Hey, Tom.
Yes?
Tom, just so you muted, you didn't mute Tommy and Kathy. You muted them for you, but not for just a heads up. So Tom and Kathy, just a heads up. You might want to mute yourselves, just a heads up.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, Mark.
Who was that? Speaking of 666, did you say this was show 666? It must have been the voice of the devil there.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tom. Please continue.
Yes, I just wanted to say that, speaking about foosball is always much more interesting when you have someone else to talk to. Like, take, for instance, the greatest play-by-play announcer in the world for foosball. That would be you, Jim.
No, thanks for, that was me. And the other voice, I believe, was Mark Torres. Yes. We'll find out here in a minute.
And of course,
excited. Number 66. How about that?
Yeah.
Tommy and Kathy Adkisson joining us tonight. Can't wait for that. Going to be an exciting show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And of course, always at the ready to provide play-by-play color. And we mean color. That would be, of course, Mark Torres from the Windy City, Chicago. Hello, Mark.
Over time, I've been building my castle of love.
So good.
Just for two, though you never knew it was of you, I've been dreaming. Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm just going to fall in love over and over with myself.
You're in fine voice tonight. Wow.
Hey, Mark, by the way, I heard a rumor that at next week's Bardo Hearn celebration, which of course we'll be there to cover, I hear that they are going to be doing karaoke in the bar with you in mind. How about that?
Really?
Even more. I think they're going to do some live band stuff, and they're trying to get me to sing a couple tunes.
Yeah?
So, yeah. So we'll see, man. That might be a good party.
How many?
I'll sing with you, buddy. Can we do the Bee Gees maybe or something like that?
Yes, as long as I get all the high notes.
You get the high notes. Yeah, I'm staying alive.
So how many? I'm just curious. How many Stolies will that take?
Well, I don't drink. Like, as you know, I drink LaCroix. Are you talking? How many does that take for you, Jim?
No, he's talking at a foosball tournament, not here on a Sunday night, Mark. So I don't think I don't think Stoli is his particular choice, but it will somewhere in the range of 7 to 10.
7 to 10 gray gooses.
And I get warm. And it's like when I get warmed up. It's when I get warmed up. And let me tell you something else. I got these young bucks like Blake Robertson. Blake Robertson, like yesterday, was challenging me to drink with him, and I just got to warn everybody right now. I want to warn everybody. The last time someone like early 30s challenged me to drink, it was my nephew, Jonathan, and I have a picture of him in his underwear in a bathtub at 4 a.m.
What?
So you do not want to challenge me to drinking. I will bury you. I will bury you.
Yeah, I'm not going. I know better. I do know better. Now, karaoke, on the other hand, I might have to challenge you in that.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
ready.
All I can say
Ready.
is that I'm very grateful that our liability insurance is fully paid up. You know,
for sure.
so I feel better.
And then Bardo Hearn celebration next week in Austin, Texas. Always such a great event. We're going to be traveling down there to cover it. I think for the 11th time, Inside Foos has been down there. The first time ever, it's going to be held at a hotel, which I think the Radisson Hotel on I-35 there in Austin. It's going to be a great event for a variety of reasons. Of course, all the fallen Foosers that are going to be recognized and honored, and I think it's something like 55, including several Hall of Famers. And the man himself, Joe Kuntz, who created the event 21 years ago for his fallen friend, Bardo Hearn. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But we're also, Mark, and I know you've been heavily involved in this as well. We're also going to be covering the Deutsche Meisterschaft, the DTFB event in Germany next weekend as well.
In both places at the same time.
Somehow, yes. Mark, you can expand on that a little if you'd like.
Well, so we're doing new things. And amongst those new things are covering Inside Foos is really, I don't think ever covered two tournaments 6,000 miles apart on the same weekend. I think that's new. And so technology allows us to do that, and managing that remotely while we're also at the Bardo Hearn tournament. And I think I mentioned this last week and even maybe the week before. The German National Championships is a massive tournament for Germans by Germans, and they opened up their signups in 40 minutes. They had 450 people signed up for their tournament. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and they've invited us to come do the remote commentary. I think what we're doing, I believe we're going to be on site. Like there are some things we're managing through, COVID restrictions we're managing through, but I think at this point we're going to be on site at two tournaments. I believe. So, but no, we're covering it. No matter what, we're covering them. We're covering them.
Right.
No
By on-site, it doesn't mean that Mark and I are going to be jet setting back and forth between the two events each day. We're not able to do that yet. Now, if we still had the SST, perhaps the Concorde, maybe we could do that. However, we are going to have a crew on the ground in Germany. We are going to have commentators on the ground. It's not going to be Mark and I, at least this year. But it is going to be an interesting experiment and a chance really to show the entire world a full weekend, because it's going to be almost every hour of the day, isn't it? It's going to be a full weekend of incredible foosball, both on the Leonhardt table and, of course, on the Tornado table in Austin.
This is I can't wait to see what happens. I think that
me too.
it's going to be revolutionary in the sense of play-by-play. Never ever been done before, I take it.
I don't think so.
No, nothing like this. No, certainly with us, no. And I have to think no one's ever done anything quite like this. We covered the Austrian event, the Brookmere Open, a couple of weeks ago and did it remotely the first time we had done that. And now we're looking to do two tournaments in one weekend. Because it's just how it is these days. We have a year till the World Cup, and there are probably 60 or 70 tournaments that need to take place before that, which means some are going to piggyback on others. It's just how it is. And so we're going to do our best and experiment and see what we can do. We have quality people on the ground in Germany. And of course, we'll have the A team, so to speak, down in Austin for the Bardo. So it should be a lot of fun, a doubleheader of foosball.
If you love foosball, you have the German championships and Bardo, right? So that's like a 7-hour difference. So you can watch foosball until your eyes are bleeding. Great foosball every day for 3 days.
24/7.
Yeah. Well, pretty darn close. We don't want to exaggerate, but like 15, 16 hours is a lot of foosball.
That's no doubt. Oh, well, this is revolutionary, and I think that I'm waiting to see what happens. I'll be anxiously awaiting, and of course, we on Sunday evening next week we're going to be getting some live reports from the Bardo. We're looking forward to that, to say the least, and it's going to be. I have a feeling a really good turnout for the Bardo this year.
Yeah, I think so. And Adam Gilson is going to join us down there and lend his particular style of expert commentary to the broadcast as well, and maybe a few matches. Mark and Adam, all three of us will be in there. But it'll be a lot of fun, no doubt about it. Of course, Saturday night, the Fallen Fooser ceremony is always. On the one hand, it's sad, but on the other hand, it's really exciting.
Yes.
That we're able to honor and recognize and remember, and oftentimes family members are there. And so it's really, you come out of that ceremony drained, but you also kind of feel pretty good for people who are trying to process perhaps, deaths of loved ones
Sure.
etc.
Sure.
And the fact that we can recognize them for their achievements during their foosball careers as well.
Well,
So,
as we always say,
going to be a heck of a weekend.
Yeah, no, as we always say, family, family and foosball go hand in hand, and this is what family does for one another. So, really cool stuff. Well, okay, this talk about travel from one part of the planet to the other so quickly, of course, has worked up quite a mean thirst here. What Jim and I like to do right about this time is to reveal our favorite IPA. All right, so Jim, what is cooling your palm this evening?
Cooling my palm, yes. I was in California for a week. I actually went out there, went to the beach, had a great time with the in-laws, and got back today. Literally got back into Durango today. Pulled up, came inside, and there was a package waiting for me that had 12 beers in it, shipped from Manchester, England. Yes,
really?
Our CEO Stephen Lyle shipped these. I guess it came straight from the brewery. This is going to be one of the sponsors of an event that's taking place in about a month up in Manchester that we are going to be covering remotely. But let me tell you a little bit about what it is. It's from the Shindigger Brewery in Manchester, England, which was founded in 2013 by Paul and George. Where's Ringo and John?
Yeah.
And they were two students at Manchester University who started selling homebrew at house parties, and they have brewed a selection of beers for me: a Hefeweizen, a couple of different kinds of IPA, and I'm having one of those tonight. It's their tropical IPA.
Ooh.
And the can is very tropical with macaws and with hummingbirds and with three-toed sloths in a jungle setting on the label. It's interesting, though. This beer, an IPA, generally is somewhere between 6.5% and 8% or so alcohol. Mm-hmm. This one only 5%.
Huh.
So let's see. It's kind of a light one, but all the beers actually were kind of light. So maybe it's a thing in England to be a little lighter than what we offer here. Here we go. Mm. Yeah, no, it's good. It's quite good. It is light, but it has very, very nice back end flavor, good color, nice head. Very enjoyable, and this is the kind of beer you can have a few of on a Saturday night as you're playing a little foosball. And we'll have more information, of course, upcoming about that event.
Did it show up on your front door still cold?
No, it was not cold. Unfortunately, it was not. But I quickly threw it in the refrigerator and then in the freezer at the very end to make sure it was cool.
Oh, very nice. Well, I have to say that I'm keeping it here in New York State once again. We're traveling to the high peaks of the Adirondack Mountains this week. Saranac Lake. It's a brewery called Saranac, and they've actually been around for a long time. If you've heard of Saranac, I'm not surprised. They have produced a lot of beers over the years, but this one is referred to as the Hoppy 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 Hour Hero Mosaic IPA. And it combines the intensely piney, citrusy, and tropical fruit aroma and flavor of Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe hops. It's a double IPA, 7.5 on the alcohol by volume scale and 75 IBU. So let's see what happens here. Let's pop the old top. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's worth every second here. Piney, citrusy. Yep, there you go. Once again, the Saranac Hoppy Hour Hero IPA.
Very nice. Very nice.
Lovely.
Hey, Tom, reach over there and mute our guests if you can.
Well,
I think you have to on your end.
They actually are. Yes. Already taken care of.
No, they're not. They're muted. Tom, they're muted for you, but they're not muted for the server. Just a heads up.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, we on the Podbean side of things, we're not hearing them.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
excellent.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good to go.
Okay.
All right.
So
I guess we could have handled that behind the scenes, couldn't we? Are we on? Hello.
It's always good to pull the curtain back and show people exactly how this is done, right? We
Kind
call
of like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes,
very much like the Wizard of Oz.
They call it the fourth wall. We're removing the fourth wall here every once in a while. So yeah, you get to hear that technical stuff once in a while. Of course, Clay Toomey, of course, was really good at that.
Yeah.
And now he's
well. We miss Clay again. Hopefully, he'll be back with us soon. And I think who are we toasting tonight? Are we kind of keeping it in the Sooner State tonight?
We are indeed. We're toasting Foos Nerds of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bill Chance and the guys out there, they have a really active club, and we want to salute and, of course, raise a glass and toast Foos Nerds from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Here's to you guys. And by the way, Mark's drinking a LaCroix, as he calls it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
I keep
so
forgetting
we can
to
move
ask.
past that.
LaCroix.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
cooling your
drinking a little-
palm?
Just ignore me.
We try to. I do have a couple other announcements I wanted to make before I know we have lots of things to take care of here, but I want to remind everybody that we are not that far away from the Tornado Championships coming up September 1st through 6th in Lexington, Kentucky at the Clarion, the usual hotel there in Lexington, which has hosted the event for so many years and does such a great job. So if you're planning on attending a tournament, the Tornado Championships, of course, every year, maybe as big a tournament as there is on an annual basis anywhere in the world. So looking forward to that. A couple of releases this week at Inside Foos, the 2003 National Championships. What made that one historic was Gummison and McMillan winning for the first time as a team. I think we're going to have 22 or 23 videos from that released. And then in honor of our guest tonight, we are going to be releasing at InsideFoos.com the 1993 World Championships when Tommy Adkisson really did his thing for the first time. And it was also Inside Foos doing our thing for the first time as well at a World Championship. So
cool.
Check out that. And again, last week, guys, we had, what did we have? 3 callers? 2.5, counting the guy from Toronto. But it was cool. So we definitely encourage participation. Please call in tonight and get ready with questions for Tommy and Kathy Adkisson. Yeah. And for us, if you'd like as well.
It's going to be a blast. There's no question. In fact, I got to say, Tommy Adkisson and his wife have been right at the top of my wish list. Really wanted to get these guys to jump on and have some fun with us because they're great folks. So looking forward to that. And yes, of course, we do have to look back in time, back in history, to a great moment, which may sound familiar.
With great moments in foosball history, this is a FoosTalk Live Flashback.
Kevin has been sensational offensively from goal this weekend. That one sent down the middle, picked off by the 5 of Adkisson again, using the lane to advance it to his 3-rod. Strokes it home to the far side.
The rod throw with authority. He's determined to break that bumper. Maybe he really hates those bumpers, Jim.
Yeah. Stolen away here by Adkisson. He fires it home. 2 quick ones in a row. It's 3-2. And a loss on the far.
That's when you got to wonder.
Romero simply turned it over. And Adkisson grabs it on the 3-rod, calls timeout, leading 3-2 here in the 5th.
How do you respond when someone's yelling in your face like that? And can you keep your composure, or can you tense up a little bit?
So that right there. Adkisson will put the ball back into play and struck it home. It's match point for Tommy and Kathy Adkisson. Wow, this happens fast. Romero, he regained some composure. Tried to go along the wall, blocked by Adkisson. Romero again. Tried to pass it through. Nice save by Kathy. Again, anticipating the slot. Pass near side. Scrambled after. It's Barber who comes out of the scrum with the ball. Sent down the middle and then right back into the goal by Tommy Adkisson. Wow. A flurry in the 5th game from the Adkissons as they outlast Kevin Romero and Dan Barber to advance to the open doubles final.
Man, that happened fast. You know what? That's Tommy from the 90s, man. And that's why Tommy is a world champion.
Listen in next time for another great moment in foosball history. It's FoosTalk Live Flashback.
Quick question on this one. How many married couples have actually been that competitive when it comes to foosball? One? That's it?
Not very many, that's for sure. It's not easy, and maybe that's something we can address tonight in our chat with them, but have not been very many that have been able to.
I don't know if Tiffany and Terry, remember Terry was playing with Bobby Diaz the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And they played together in open mixed, obviously. I don't know if they ever played together in open doubles, but that'd be the closest, I think. Well, Gina and Steve. Let's not forget about Gina and Steve.
Right.
But I don't think they played open doubles much together. These guys were, I don't know.
I guess those are 3 great examples, no doubt about it. But of those 3, I think only one of those couples really has done it in a fashion that was, so we say, friendly. Or it was the other 2 that you mentioned. Oftentimes could battle a little bit on the table with each other as well. So, but that's something maybe we can talk about tonight. And of course, I have a wife that plays as well, so I've got some experience with that as well. And maybe I'll lend my insights or not.
Will we ever see the team of Jim and Amy Stevens? In open doubles?
Open doubles, I don't think so. No, I mean, it's just a matter of me not being able to really have the time to play the open events. But she and I have played together a few different times on tour and had some success together. At a couple of Warrior events, and I remember a Colorado State Championships, and played pretty well. and the marriage survived.
Yeah.
And so, who knows? We'll see. That's something, again, we can, ask them, how do they do it? Because really, that's something Mark and I saw in that tournament up in Portland. They got along great. They really did.
Huh. Well, it's all about, when it comes to a good doubles team, communication and chemistry, right? Those are two important ingredients. And if you've already got that in your marriage, right?
Well,
hopefully.
Let's not leave something else out too. Kathy plays like, if you were to put a curtain around Kathy and just had her arms, you would think it's a guy, because the style of play is so it's so
athletic.
damn it's not just athletic. It's a steady 90s 2000s goalie play, like the blocking, the saves, the pull shot, setting it up, and you notice different styles of play back there. And a good opposite example is Cindy Head, who, frankly, in my opinion, is not that great of a goalie. She's a great player, but she's like a freestyling, shoot from the hip, kind of wild. And not to take anything, disparage her style of play. Kathy is like my type of goalie play. Like, reminds me of like Gus Trevino. Reminds me of someone who has a hard. Kathy's pull shot's way harder than Gus Trevino, by the way.
Really?
Like 10 times harder. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. But she's a good goalie. She's a damn good goalie. I mean that. Like, I'm very impressed with her goalie game.
Well,
she really is. She's an exceptional player, a very, very good player, no doubt about it.
Really looking forward to having a chat with both of them and see what this is like. And I'm sure they have lots of fun anecdotes to share with us about off the table too. But so tonight, of course, we are honoring Tommy and Kathy. But Tommy, of course, is the subject of our top 5 this evening. It's the top 5 Tommy Adkisson moments. Time once again for the FoosTalk Live Top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here's Jim Stevens and Mark Torres.
Yeah, Tommy Adkisson, a man who has won 6 Tornado World Championships, has accomplished so much in the sport. And done it in his own inimitable way, no question about it. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to look back on his career, and maybe Mark and I could come up with 5 moments that we remember from what really has been, of course, a Hall of Fame career and a very memorable series of championships and performances over the length of his career. So this should be fun.
Let's get right into this.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 5.
Well, Jim said a couple of moments we could remember. I'm going to be honest and say there's a couple moments in here I wasn't there for, but I heard about them and I wish I was there. And so my number 5 is Tommy playing in the International Multi-Table World Cup in 2007. Now, I had just quit playing foosball and it wouldn't come back never really came back. But I didn't get a chance. It was around the time when I stopped doing Inside Foos broadcasting. That's amazing. It's 14 years ago. But Tommy, from the stories, goes out to Italy, I believe. Is that right, Jim? Italy?
Yeah. St. Vincent, Italy. Yep.
And plays in the ITSF Multi-Table World Championship, and gets the crowds around him like he's playing in Vegas. I mean, people are flocking to see Tommy play, and he's the entertainer that foosball needs. And his charisma and his energy translates just like it would, because the emotion is real. Doesn't matter what language you speak. It's foosball, and the emotion drives the drama, and the drama drives the audience. And I just wish I was there, man. And here was an amazing, amazing moment. I bet you Jim is going to have this on his list somewhere. So I'll give Jim an opportunity who was there to see it. But I got Tommy, 2007. In Italy. That's my number 5.
Coincidentally, it's my number 5 as well. It was 2007. I had been the previous year for the very first time to St. Vincent, Italy, where they held the World Championships. Back then, the World Cup was separate from the World Championships. Of course, since 2009, they've been together. But it was exciting when we heard about Tommy Adkisson traveling overseas. Just the thought of that was kind of intriguing. Starting early 2000s, Tommy evolved. He kind of changed from that simply excitable, high-speed player to a more cerebral player. He had a better sense of being an entertainer. He played to the crowd more. It wasn't just energy. It was by design that he would interact with the crowd, with his opponents, his partner, and do it in a way that really was not offensive in the least. It was actually very positive. And we started to see that, and it really, in 2007, We heard he was coming. He shows up, and he is the big attraction. Even before the event, players were saying, "That's Tommy Adkisson. I've seen him on Inside Foos videos. I can't wait to watch him play." And then, like Mark said, each and every match he played, when you saw a big crowd, even bigger than what Fred was drawing, or Billy Pappas, it was Tommy Adkisson, and they were 5 deep, huddled around these tables watching him play, and he was putting on a show, doing his thing, and everybody, no matter what language you speak, Tommy Adkisson is just fun to watch, right? Obviously, the quality of the game is there, but also that entertainment aspect, like Mark suggested, is also there. And he reached the final. He got all the way to the final that year, and this is an event with all the best players in the world from all the different countries. Terry Moore was there. Billy Pappas was there, but it was Tommy Adkisson who reached the final against the man who at that point was undefeated in any multi-table event he ever played in, and that's Frederic Collignon. He lost to Fred in the final, but it was a lot of fun. It was very entertaining, and he hasn't been back since. It's the only time that Tommy ever went overseas, and man, it was a lot of fun. That's my number 5 as well, Mark.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 4.
Well, I had to put this one on here because it's lovely to see a husband and a wife win a world championship together. I didn't see this one either, so let me not exaggerate. But to see, to know that Tommy beat Tony and Dusty in 2011 in an open mixed world championship final, that's a big win, man. That's a big win. And as I understand it, Tommy and Kathy play together. Well, as I've seen with my own 2 eyes, they play together with chemistry. And Tommy is self-deprecating. He never gets down on Kathy ever. If he does, you would never see it. But when I've seen Tommy play with Kathy in Portland, Tommy put the blame on himself, owned all the mistakes, praised his wife, and that's the irony about that is it's a foosball mantra that when you start dating someone, you stop playing together. I guess it just goes south. I guess it's just like a toxic thing. People that are dating or married don't play together, and some of these couples that do play together, they play together with a certain inflammatory engagement that's not always the prettiest thing to see. But that doesn't happen that I saw. Now, that's not to say it didn't happen in 2011. I just like to imagine it didn't. So Tommy and Kathy, when you come on, please continue to pretend like it was a romantic journey that ended with a championship. Anyway, 2011, Tommy and Kathy beat Tony and Dusty in the Open Mixed World Championship. That's my number 4.
I don't have that in my top 5, but part of that is because I wasn't there. It's the only world championship I've missed since 1993. Certainly heard about it, and still don't know how that sort of thing happens. Only the second couple to ever, married couple to ever win a world championship. Steve and Gina, I believe, won 4 of them, I think, together. And so, yeah, great memory there. No, my number 4, it's from 2009. Tommy Adkisson, and again, I talked about it earlier, how he started to evolve as a showman, right, as an entertainer. And again, his style of play, even if he didn't emote and throw the rod and do everything, by the way, I get the sense tonight when Tommy comes up with a good answer, he's throwing the rod tonight. Don't you think so? Yeah. But this was the evolution of Tommy Adkisson. In 2009, Tornado World Championships at the Grapevine Hilton. First time back at the Grapevine Hilton since really the early 1990s. This is where Tommy doubled. This is where Tommy, did his thing back in 93. And he's playing with Richard White, a pro player out of Houston, a longtime player. And if you knew Rich liked to have a lot of fun. But in this tournament, here's Tommy playing forward. Here's Richard White playing goalie. And Tommy is doing his thing. And for whatever reason, it's usually later in the day, later in the evening when he really started to get going. Maybe it's just playing all day. And then as the motors gets going, the excitement gets going. But he was reacting after every shot. One match in particular, when they played Bob Diaz and Ryan Moore in a open doubles match. And Tommy is scoring, and he's looking across at Ryan, looking across at Bobby, and staring him down and doing his thing and calling the timeouts and strutting away. And you know how Tommy is, right? It was incredibly entertaining. And the crowds, again, just like in Europe, the crowds were huge surrounding the table watching Tommy do his thing. Everybody had a huge smile on his face or her face watching what was going on. But in this World Championship in 2009, we can ask Tommy about it later. Man, he was having fun. Ended up finishing 3rd. Lost to Billy Pappas and your good friend, Fernando de Rosa, who went on to the final to face Collignon and Lafredo. But it was a 3rd place finish for Tommy and Richard White. But man, they did it in style. It was so much fun to watch. And that was kind of the beginning of the new entertainer, Tommy Adkisson. That's my number 4.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 3.
Well, I got Tommy and Scotty Open Singles World Championship when Tommy beat Scotty in '97, and Tommy was just a ball of fire, a human torch. And I'm gonna have Tommy make sure that he qualifies this story. I think this story is true. You know, I'm a big I oppose splitting. I just oppose it. And I know some of these guys do, and they're trying to make money sometimes. And I believe, as the story goes, Scotty might have asked Tommy to split, and Tommy said, "That ain't happening, dude. I'm not splitting with you." And Tommy, sorry, Jim, when you say something, I don't know if you were to say something.
No, I was going to say that, and it was Scotty who actually won the winner's bracket.
Yes,
and
yes.
still offered the split.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to make sure Tommy corrects the story if it's wrong. And so Tommy, it's like match ball, and Scotty loses the ball on the 5-bar, and Tommy basically picks up his 3-bar and hammers it in, like basically a master hack, if you will, hacks the ball in for the world championship. And gosh, I've never been able to win a match like that. I've never been able to hack one in for my 3-bar on the roll. And so just to win a world championship like that, it's going to be one of those gratifying ways to win a open singles world championship after being asked to split. I got 97, Tommy beating Scotty.
Yeah, I do too, man.
Yeah.
I got it too. I got it at number 3 as well. And the thing is that Scotty won the winner's bracket, comes out and wins the first game of the first set, feeling good. And Scotty could talk a little smack as well, and he was strutting around, but in that sort of arrogant way that he liked to do. Great player, of course, should be in the Hall of Fame, and hopefully he gets in soon. But he was feeling good, feeling confident. Tommy turned it around in that first set, won the next 3 games to send it to a second set, and then, as Mark said, took it down at the end there. But it was Tommy winning the second time, after, I guess it was early to mid '90s, Dave Currington and Steve Murray of Tornado said, here's this belt. They created this belt, beautiful belt. And if you won 2 world championships, you got that belt. And Tommy indeed was the guy to get it. He won that belt. I'm guessing he still has it. We'll ask him about that as well. Lots to ask him. But it was an amazing performance from Tommy, and it was sort of his last hurrah to some degree for the 1990s. He went on and played Coglione in the '99 World Singles Championship. It did not come out on the positive end of that one. But for Tommy, that run from when he first burst on the tour right through the mid to late '90s was an amazing one. What an amazing player to watch. But yeah, I too, at number 3, I've got that '97 singles win. He double dipped Scotty Weidman.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 2.
For number 2, I got Tommy and Robbie beating Terry and Bobby. There was no doubt in '96 in the World Championship Open Doubles Final that Tommy and Robbie were the underdogs. And I remember the emotion. I remember the yelling and every point and the enthusiasm. I remember that type of energy, being leeching the energy from Terry and Bobby. You could see the energy and engagement they seep out of their legs. They were just starting to be drained like vampires until the point where Tommy and Robbie, they were like the enthusiasm. I just remember it melting that team, and that's the greatest to win a world championship versus the greatest team of the '90s and probably the second greatest team ever on Tornado. In that final was a masterpiece, and one of Robbie's great wins, right? One of his great wins. So I got Robbie and Tommy winning open doubles in '96 versus Terry and Bobby, number 2.
Yeah, I knew there'd be some crossover on our list, but I didn't realize we would have them in exactly the same position. I too have the '96, and Mark and I do not collaborate on this list before the show, believe me, folks. But I also have the '96 doubles win with Mars. Now the thing is, entering that event, the huge, heavy favorites to win were Terry Moore and Bob Diaz. This was head and shoulders the best team on tour. They were winning probably half of the open doubles competitions held on tour during that time period, were unequivocally the best team. But as Mark said, the energy, and literally every single score was celebrated. Okay.
Yeah.
Every single one was Tommy jumping up in the air and just shaking him, and Robbie looking at him, and them high-fiving or high-tenning or whatever we did back in the mid 90s.
Right.
But it was the energy was incredible. The crowd was involved. In fact, at the very end of that match, I remember final point goes in. They beat him pretty badly in the final game, maybe 5-1. And the crowd literally stands. They roar in approval. They're clapping for a good 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds, and they're standing up and just applauding what was an incredible effort. So fun to watch. I recall how excited I was to commentate it. But yeah, that 96 win was phenomenal. They came back the next year and reached the finals again in 97, but lost to Terry and Bobby in that final. Terry and Bobby said, that's enough. We're the best team on the Tornado Tour in the 90s. We're going to win one. Turned out that was the only one that Terry and Bobby won. Did not beat him in 96, though, as my number 2, 96 doubles win at the Tornado World Championships with Robert Morris.
FoosTalk Live proudly presents the Top 5. Number 1.
Well, my number 1 was going to be, well, it was going to be Jim's number 1, but I got to change it at the last minute just to spice it up. I'm going to do something different just because now I know we're synced up. I know what your number 1 is. So I'm going to go to my favorite personal memory of Tommy Adkisson, which you probably won't even remember. And I'll tell you why. In 1993, my dear friend and I, Ken Lowe, rest in peace, traveled out to Oklahoma for the Nationals. One of the 5 tour events. There was 5 majors back then, and the Nationals was in Oklahoma. And so Ken Lowe and I get there early on a Thursday, and we go to Starbucks, Link Penley's old place, and they have a tournament there, a draw your partner, pick your partner. So basically, you could it was a pick your partner. You could pick whoever you wanted to play with. And I got that night, I got the lucky roll. I got the number 1 pick. And I could pick anyone in the room to play with. And I knew about Tommy. Back then, Tommy Adkisson was a hot novice. He was a super hot smoking novice, winning all the novice expert stuff all over the place. Okay, I picked my friend Ken Lowe. I got my choice to pick anyone. I picked my friend Ken Lowe. And we crush everybody and get to the winner's bracket final versus Tommy. Now, we maybe dropped 1 game. And Ken Lowe's playing goalie for me. So I was playing a lot of forward back in the early 90s. And I'm thinking, okay, here it is. What's this guy all about? And I could not do anything. And I was good back then. I was fast. I don't know. It was like, I was clearly outmatched. He was shooting dead bar pull shots. He got every pass he wanted. He was ahead of me 1 step on the 5 bar. And that was about the time when I realized I can't do this anymore. I'm not keeping up. These guys are too good. And it was shortly after that Tommy wins a world champion, the doubles at the world championships. But my first opportunity to play Tommy directly was a realization that the game was leaving me behind. I was in college. I don't want to make any excuses, but the fact of the matter was Tommy wiped the floor with me after I just wiped the floor with all his friends. And it's a great memory of the first time I played Tommy, the first time I saw Tommy play up close. And it was, I knew by then. Now, the last thing I'll say about this, there was a bunch of hot novices. They were all, you still had Tom Yor, and of course, Fernando De Rosa, Robbie. All these guys were like coming up. They were up and coming. They hadn't made the market. Someone had to break through. And a lot of people thought it was going to be Fernando. Fernando had already been had high finishes. And of all those guys to really bust out, it was really Tommy. Tommy came out and just blew the doors off, and was great from the beginning. So my personal memory, Tommy Adkisson at Starbucks in Oklahoma. Little draw your partner.
That's awesome. What a great story that is. I'm sure Tommy probably remembers that. He's one of those guys that remembers every single match he played, I think. But now and there was such a great crop, as you said, back in those days. And Lewis Cartwright was in there as well as he was coming up. Yeah. And a few other guys, Don Swan and others who were just sort of on the cusp of breaking through. Obviously, my number 1, 1993, Steve Murray gets wind of what we're doing out in Southern California, brings us out on tour. We work an event, the U.S. Open, one of the 5 majors in Long Beach. And then we go to New Orleans for the national championships, which is the first time I ever saw Tommy Adkisson play. He played with Russ King at that event. First time I ever saw him play. And it was really eye-opening for me to see somebody play that high speed of a game at that level and with that much success. But so we come to the Tornado World Championships at, again, the Grapevine Hilton. My first world championship, the first world championship for Inside Foos. And we come into this, what was basically four indoor tennis courts that they transformed into this huge arena with 1,000 players plus. I mean, I was just, in hog heaven. I was walking on cloud 9, knowing that I was on the big stage for the first time, and people ended up really enjoying what we did. But a lot of that was because of the matches and because of the finals. He comes out, Tommy Adkisson plays with Russ King in the open doubles final. They face Steve Biney and Don Swan, come back and double dip them, or win in 2 sets. And a lot of it is that Russ King hits a big push kick from goal to turn the momentum around. Tommy switches from pull shot to snake shot to kind of capitalize on the momentum, and they bring it home. And then Tommy comes out in the open singles final still with lots of momentum, still playing that high-speed game, faces the great Terry Moore, who had already broken through the previous year with the World Championship and was the man at that time with this new thing, the snake shot. And Tommy rolled him over, just blew him off the table in that singles final to win a second championship with only the mixed doubles final to come. And we're thinking, man, this guy, how can he be stopped? Well, I guess it was a little bit of a break and maybe a trip upstairs or two that was celebrating the wins in doubles and singles, and it was Steve Murray and Gina Murray who came back and beat Tommy and his partner in mixed doubles to not allow Tommy to triple. But it was legendary play. It was my first ever world championship, the perfect storm all coming together with Inside Foos, everybody really enjoying what we were doing, enjoying the amazing action, the breakthrough of Tommy Adkisson, the beginning of Jim Stevenson, Inside Foos. Really one of the signature events, I think, in the history of the sport in so many ways. But it was the performance of Tommy Adkisson that stole the show that weekend at the Grapevine Hilton, as he won both singles and doubles and almost tripled in mixed doubles, but lost to Steve and Gina, who were just so tough. And of course, we've talked about that on the show before. But my number one certainly has to be that 1993 performance from Tommy at the Grapevine Hilton at the World Championships.
It's absolutely remarkable. Remarkable.
Yeah. That's a great memory for me. And I'll just put a capstone on this because that's a very, very fond memory for me. I was there to see it all. And Tommy, so we can't always be what we were in our youth. Tommy's evolved, and he's become a different player, and he's exceptionally competitive. But, there was a fighter named Mike Tyson at some point early on in his career. And Mike Tyson would knock you out in the first, you had to survive the first 3 rounds with Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson would throw everything in the kitchen sink with so much blinding speed and power and ferocity and will. He would punch through you. And so Tommy Adkisson, ironically, that had the same game as Mike Tyson as a boxer. Ooh. Tommy Adkisson, he jumped out at you. He had 2 brush downs, one that went above the man and one went beneath the man, and like a 1 hover lane pass, and then like he still has the same kind of hesitation wall pass, but he would just like pummel you with it. He'd beat you to it. He was faster than you. He was stronger than you, and he overwhelmed you. And by the time you knew it, you were down 2 or 3-0, and you were gasping for air, and it was minutes in. And then he had Todd Lafredo described it as why a pull shot that can go straight or long, dead bar anytime, is a lethal combination. Because when Tommy had Lafredo's number, Lafredo could not stop his pull shot. And then if he had like a little bit of if he was for whatever reason, he decided he was going to switch it up, he pulled out a rollover, which was notoriously difficult to block in the early 90s. People hadn't developed defenses for it yet. Yeah. So Tommy was the recipient of having a dead bar pull straight and long that looked exactly the same. He did this odd thing too, where I don't know if he still does it. He torqued the rod and shot a dead bar long, but he also torqued the rod when he shot the straight. So you were like, when he was on a roll, especially when the emotions are high, and you still see it with Tommy, when the emotions are high and he's driving at you and he's going for the jugular, it's absolutely overwhelming. And his whole early career was about beating the hell out of you until you were demoralized.
That's awesome.
And you couldn't climb back in. That was Tommy's game in the 90s.
What a great comparison that is to Mike Tyson. That's beautiful. I remember the time he bit off a portion of Bob Diaz's ear. Do you remember that?
Yeah. He had to jump up just like Mike did. He had to jump up just like Mike did. Jump up and grab it between his teeth. Yeah, I remember.
Final thought on that too. And Tommy's brush down, right, where he did it 3 or 4 different ways. you could be looking for it, Tom. It didn't matter. You're looking for it defensively. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. You still can't block it. So, and he just made a living on that. And what great memories those are, for sure.
I got to say, guys, that the soap opera is unfolding in front of me as a person who's just learning about these moments in history. And now we know the truth, the absolute truth about why Mark Anthony Torres stopped playing.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Because
you're right. We've been kind of leading up to it for weeks, if not months. And there it is. You're right, Tom.
I've always wanted to know. And now I do.
I wonder how many other careers that Tommy Adkisson has put a halt to. I'm sure there's been quite a few once you lost to Tommy. So I have one other Tommy. I know I played. There was a DYP. I would say 2009, 2010. It was this special pro only or some sort of thing DYP at the World Championships, and it wasn't a DYP actually. It was a bring your partner. And I called up Fred and I said, Fred, I'd love to play. Can we play together? So I played with Frederick Collignon in this event. And you know how it is when you're watching baseball and you see Nolan Ryan down there, or you see some pitcher and you say, I could hit that guy.
Yeah.
Right. I can hit that guy, right? And I get in there against Tommy Adkisson, and man, he just killed me. And I'm like, that fastball is a lot faster than I thought it was. They play at such a level, such a speed that it was shocking. And Tommy just killed me. And Fred and I were out in 2 or 3. But not one of my better memories, but one that just occurred to me that involved Tommy Adkisson, of course. And we can't forget about his wife Kathy as well. I believe she's a 2-time world champion, and they won a world championship together. A woman who, in my opinion, if she had continued to play on a regular basis, would probably already be in the Hall of Fame. That's how good she was. That's how good she is.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, we've been talking about these guys now for a good solid half hour, and the stories are amazing. But there'd be a whole lot better if we brought Tommy and Kathy on live to FoosTalk Live. Tommy and Kathy, welcome to FoosTalk Live. Are you with us?
They're probably talking. They got to unmute themselves.
Yeah.
I hear you. Hello, Kathy.
Oh, there you are.
You hear us?
We can hear you.
Hello.
Tommy and Kathy, welcome to FoosTalk Live. This is Tom Robinson. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. So we've been talking for the last 40 minutes nonstop about those moments in your career, Tommy, and of course it's we know about you because you're a movie star from from Foosballers. We know about your the past. I remember the scene in Foosballers when you're standing in front of the abandoned arcade that you used to play in. And we remember those moments. So Tommy and Kathy, thank you so much for being with us. So Kathy, I think it's only fair if you're with us that we begin with you, because it's a tradition here on FoosTalk Live. We got to find out where it all began. So Kathy, if you'd like, take us back to the moment that you first started playing foosball. How old were you when you first saw a table, and what kind was it?
Well, I was 18. And it was a tornado table. I had my senior year, I went to school for 1 hour.
Oh.
So when I got done with that, I'd go up to this little pool hall where I was kind of buddies with the owner and sit up there. And I decided I just wanted to not spin the rods and put my boyfriend in his place because his head got a little bit big for our relationship.
Oh, interesting. So
that's how it all started.
So, and for you, when it came to getting competitive, though, I mean, as far as playing there to settle some scores, I mean, how did that progress when it came to finally being competitive as a foosball player?
Well, I went overseas to visit my family, and while I was gone, that little pool hall closed down. So I got home at like 4 a.m. My flight got in, and a buddy of mine picked me up from the airport and told me about the place closing, and I was fiending to play foosball. So he said, hey, this other place opened up. It's called Billiard Palace, and they're open 24 hours. I was like, no way. So he took me there, and I got in, saw some people playing tournament style play I'd never seen before.
Okay.
So that this guy shot a pull shot, and it scared me. It was so loud.
Yeah.
So then one of the guys took me under the wing and talked me into coming out and playing, and that was it.
Wow. Now, who was that? Do you remember the name of the person who brought you into this game?
Tony Owens.
Tony Owens. Very cool. And did you continue to play continually after that?
Yeah, that was in November of 92. So my first world, or no, it was November 91.
Mm-hmm.
And then my first world was 93.
Oh, wow. 1993. We're just talking about
And little did you
1993.
know, that 93 Worlds turned out to be kind of special.
Now, when did you first meet Tommy?
Let's see, November, New Year's Open, 92.
Wow. So
it was a New Year's Open tournament at the Palace.
Got it. What is it? Was it one of those fairy tale kind of romances, love at first sight?
I love that laugh.
No, absolutely not.
Well,
when you first start playing and you hear all these stories about all the top players right then, and especially since he was from Oklahoma, I'd heard a lot about him, and I hadn't seen him, and everybody called him Little Tommy, and so I went up there for that New Year's Open tournament, and I found my friend Tony, and he was telling me, hey, this is Adrian Zamora. That's, he's pointing all these players out. And I said, where's Tommy? Where's the Tommy kid? I want to see him, And he said, well, if you can get to the table, he's over there. So I just followed the crowd, and I heard, all this yelling and screaming, and I saw him, and I was like, that's it? That little kid? Are you kidding me?
Wow.
So yeah, I just thought he was real cocky and full of himself, and I didn't really like him much.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you play with him or against him in those days?
Yeah, against him, yeah.
And what did you think?
Well, I mean, what can you
thought the same thing.
Pretty much.
You thought the same thing. Cocky.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't take it easy on me at all. And at first, really, I thought he hated me and was trying to make me cry and quit.
Oh.
Just because he was so loud and aggressive and screamy and, I don't know.
Some things never change for sure. You're listening to FoosTalk Live. We're visiting with Tommy and Kathy Adkisson. So, all right. So 92, 93, you see who he is. There's little Tommy. He's in your mind, he's a little over the top, a little much. When, and maybe this is personal, but heck, what the heck? When did you guys kind of start to be attracted to each other? When did that happen? I have a feeling it was significantly later than that.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, 98?
Yeah, 98,
99. 98, 99, something like that. I don't even remember, honestly.
Now, I have to ask you this question. Once you finally decided to tie the knot, quote unquote, at the wedding reception, was there a foosball table present?
No.
No.
There were tornadoes, though, and we had Rob Mares was freaking out.
I mean, like real tornadoes?
Real tornadoes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we got married in May in Oklahoma. That's kind of
Tornado
what we
Alley,
did.
right in the heart of it.
Yes.
I've been mute laughing because of your description of him as screamy. I think that's
very screamy. Yeah.
Screamy.
Stop it, Mark. Stop it now.
Oh God,
that's great. And so Kathy, when it comes to these days, you guys play together. I want to get it from your perspective, first of all, because this is unique. There aren't too many in history of foosball married couples who actually play well as a team in foosball. What do you attribute to your success?
Communication, and he's very patient with me.
Okay.
I mean, he's the master. Why would I not? Why would I not listen to what he's telling me to do?
Sure.
So
by master, you mean master player, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
It's master period, Jim.
Yeah, whatever.
okay, buddy, you got it. You just keep saying that. Keep saying it.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why this is true. If I was playing I'm a little scared of my wife, frankly. So if I was playing with my wife, I'd be a little bit of terror that she's gonna. And I will say it's the same thing for Jim.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. No question. Hi, honey. Nice. Glad you're listening tonight.
She is. She's listening. It's awesome. Is she really? Is she listening?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. She's with us. So, hi, Amy. It's not my fault.
I love that.
No, it's awesome that the old married couple thing. It really there have been very few, as we've talked about, and watching you guys in Portland this year at the Moneyball event, it was almost I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and of course I know you two, I know how well you get along, but to watch the way you guys played together as such a team, such great chemistry. Obviously, ended up taking second. A lot of fun to watch you guys play, but also Tom, let's welcome the other half, the lesser half, if we will.
Yeah.
Let's welcome Tommy, and I know you got some questions for him as well.
Tommy, I think that this is, first of all, I'm a huge fan, and I love the whole attitude you've carried through this sport of being an entertainer, not only a master player, but an entertainer, someone who really kind of gets the crowd going. As these guys were mentioning during our top five, you want to find where Tommy Adkisson is playing in a room, follow the crowd. So I got to ask you, from your perspective, what is that like? How does that feel?
A lot of people don't understand. I pick someone in the crowd and I get them involved, and I don't think you ever quit getting nervous, even as a master player, and that's a way of me dealing with my nerves.
Oh, interesting.
And it always has been.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like I take someone
sometimes
along
that person he picked out.
me.
Sometimes that person he picked out was me.
Well, yeah. I always thought you were flirting with me. We have a lot of eye contact, bro. I enjoy it. So lie to me.
Yeah. Oh man. No. Now, has it always been like this? Because of course, we saw in the movie Foosballers, you started out like most of us, at a small arcade. I mean, were you always that way when you played early?
I've always been very vocal.
Really?
And like I told you, it's a way of me dealing with the nerves myself. It keeps me from getting nervous.
Mm-hmm. And as a master pro, why would you be nervous?
If anyone tells you that they don't still get nervous, they're lying to you.
Oh,
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
got it. Well, I mean, I have to say, it's remarkable, especially after all this time. 1993 was the beginning. What prompted you? First of all, we know that you were playing as a youngster, but what prompted you to actually become competitive? Why did you jump into tournament foosball?
I've always been competitive at anything I did. I've played sports and wrestled and done other things, but I've always been really competitive. It's just always been my makeup.
And foosball just happened to be the thing that you were, well, I guess you could say early on you were exposed to as a kid. So that was natural, I suppose.
Yeah, foosball was, it definitely came and took a hold of me. Once I got into foosball, I didn't want to do anything else.
Got addicted.
Yeah.
Now, in retrospect, back in the day when you were, of course, at that age, and you were, in your early teens when you first started?
Yeah, I was 12 when I started playing.
Wow, no kidding. Now, what did your friends who weren't playing foosball, what were they saying to you in those days?
Well, I didn't really have any friends that weren't playing foosball. Most of my friends were playing. We all got into it about the same time.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. And how often at the age of 12 or 13 were you playing?
Every day.
Every day. Wow.
Yeah.
That is addicted for sure.
And for many hours, I'm sure. In my career, as we talked about earlier, always going to be tied to yours, Tommy, just because of that 93 Worlds. Talk a little bit about that experience, about you were so confident on the table, but your style was a little different. You played a little higher speed of a level. And talk about that 93 Worlds. As you come into it, you're playing with Russ King in doubles, you're playing singles. Talk a little bit about your memories from what was really the event that propelled you on to your Hall of Fame career.
Well, I really have to give most of the credit to Terry for that 93 win.
Mm-hmm.
We made it to the finals of the Nationals that year in New Orleans. And Terry and Todd double dipped us, 2 sets, match ball. The final set, Terry tried a 5-bar and it banked in the hole, a meatball on us after we came back from 4-1 or 4-2.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And after the match, I told Terry, I said, man, this is a good match, where'd I go wrong? What are some things that I could do, He said, "Well, you're never going to beat me." I said, "Okay."
That was it. Yeah.
So I went home and I practiced for Terry and Todd and no one else. Kind of got cheated a little bit because I didn't even get to play them in that tournament. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't make it far enough for us to play them.
Yeah, the Worlds, no.
So I was a little pissed off about that at the end of it, but I was happy that I won.
Terry said that exact same thing to Trevor Park. We actually have a vignette. We started a little documentary. Noah, remember? Trevor says exactly. I don't know what Terry. Either Terry is trying to motivate people to become better, or he's just a fool because he turned these people.
I think it's the later.
He's inspiring people to beat him and become world. Whatever. Anyway, there's no question in there. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, I don't know where I was going from there. You go ahead. No, but no, I remember that 93 Nationals in New Orleans. And so that kind of spurred you on. That gave you something that kind of got you that in your craw to hold on to and focus on. And that really led to what was one of the most amazing performances we've ever seen. Talk a little bit about the doubles final where you and Russ King were a little bit down. Things were not going your way. Viney and Swan had the momentum. And then, of course, Russ hits the push kick. But you also made a big strategic switch on the 3-rod during the course of that match, which really changed things significantly.
Yeah, Russ had been begging me for about a game to switch to that rollover. And he even gave me a proposal to do it.
Whatever that
finally
was.
I switched to the rollover. Yeah, I can't really talk about it right now. But I switched to the rollover. He hits the big push kick, and we didn't really look back from there.
No, you didn't. And it carried that momentum on into the singles final as well. And you faced Terry Moore, the guy that had said to you, "You'll never beat me." And boy, did you beat him in that singles final.
Well, the thing about it, Jim, is I had been beating him for a year straight in singles, but he thought it was funny that I was playing with Russ, and it was just that we couldn't beat him and Todd. I sure wish we'd have played them at that tournament.
Yeah, we're gonna be releasing both of those finals.
Dude, still driven. You're still bitter that you didn't get to beat.
Yeah, to this day.
Let it go, dude.
28 years later.
Mark, I spent 8 to 10 hours a day practicing for those two and those two only.
Wow. That's an investment right there.
And that's what it takes. That is what it takes. And we're going to be releasing both of those finals, the doubles and singles finals, at InsideFoos.com here the next day. So folks that are listening can go ahead and head over there and watch those because they were something special, no doubt about it. The mixed doubles final, though, you're going for a triple. Did you win the winners bracket? I think you were sitting in the king seat on that one, and then you faced the Murrays in the final.
We had lost early. We lost early in mixed. Yeah, we came back through and end up losing match ball the first set to them. I had a mental block with Steve. He was the last master for me to beat.
Yeah, and
Steve was the man in my area.
Yeah, you guys have always had such a great relationship. You guys are brothers for sure on the table. And talk a little bit about Steve since his name has come up and what he meant to you and early in your career and even to this day.
Steve was huge and has always been huge in my career. He's helped me so much. I played with him. I learned a lot from him. We had some pretty good finishes, me and Steve, in the 90s. Steve definitely mentored me a lot. And if you'll watch a lot of my big matches, Steve's still there watching,
Mm-hmm. Hey, Tommy, I got a question for you. I don't know if you were listening when we were talking about our top 5, and I was talking about the Scotty Weidman Open Singles win. Was I close there?
Yeah, you were close.
Tell me.
You definitely hit on something that was asked. And
talk about it a little bit. Tell us about that Open Singles World Championship final.
Well, I lost the winners, or I think I lost for my half to Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely felt like I was a favorite in that match, And he beat the shit out of me, really, for my half.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty driven to get back to the finals to get another chance at him, And then he come up to me and asked me if I wanted to split, and I said I definitely don't. He said, but I got the winners, and I said, oh well.
not for you said not for long. You don't.
Yeah.
And that was certainly true. And then he comes out and he wins the first game of that first set, but then it was all you after that, for sure.
Yeah, I got on a roll on him the first set, and the second set it looked like it was going to go the same way early. Next thing I know, I'm in it's fifth game meatball.
Wow.
You know,
and did you hack it in with a 5 to win it?
No, I shot a push side
with a
he
3 bar.
blocked
Yeah.
it. It came right back to me, and I shot an immediate straight in.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark.
It never works.
So yes,
it never works for me.
Might as well have been a hack with the 5 bar.
So do you still, we're getting a chance, and I think you've been at every event that I've been at this year so far. You're out there touring. Do you still have that love for the game? Do you still have that drive to win, that competitiveness? I think you also come because you enjoy being a part of the foosball community and family. I think that's part of it for you. But do you still feel that drive, that hunger, that fire to compete?
It pops up once in a while, Jim. It depends. Someone has to really bring it out of me usually. Kathy's pretty good at it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathy, what do you do when that time comes? How do you get the old fire going again?
I'm not really sure. I don't think about it because, it's not something I really think about. I'm back there so nervous about keeping everything out, and I don't want to make any stupid moves. And Mark iced me during that match against Kevin and Dan. So, yeah, turn the ball right over. I'm trying not to do stupid things. So really, that's all I'm thinking about. I feel like if I hunker down on my game back there, it'll give him time to figure out what's going on,
Sure.
I'm still working on all that, though.
Now, can you tell if he's starting to kind of fall off the game a little bit, and you have a way of just pulling him aside and say, hey, listen, you've got to get your head back in the game. What do you do? Is there like a timeout where you talk to him about it?
Don't spiral.
Right.
Yeah. That's about all I can ever say is don't spiral. Because I know how hard you get frustrated and you know what you're doing wrong. And I don't know if it's the same way for him, but it's easy for me to spiral.
Yeah, it's something that I know that Mark and I noticed up in Portland that there were times when the energy wasn't necessarily there, and then I think Tom kind of challenged you. But the other thing that challenges Tommy, and the thing that brings out the best in him, is opponents who try to maybe talk smack. I know for a fact, Tommy Adkisson, that you've never had any problem at all getting fired up to play against Bob Diaz. I know that.
Yeah, me and Bobby. We're really good friends, which is a lot of people wouldn't think so by watching one of our matches. But he's a great competitor, and I enjoy playing him. I enjoy the head games.
Yeah,
I
think you guys are number 1 and number 2 on our best smack talker list. I'm pretty sure. Let's go back to 2009 when you were playing with Richard White at the Tornado Worlds at the Grapevine. I brought it up in my top 5 earlier. And the crowds were huge. You were playing against Ryan Moore, the young up and coming superstar, and Bobby Diaz. Talk a little bit about what you brought to the table in that event, because it was so much fun. We'd really never seen anything quite like that before at that level. Every match in, match out, ball in, ball out. Here you are going up against Ryan and Bobby, who were, potentially the at least a finalist that year. Talk a little bit about the energy you brought to that event.
It was actually Ryan and Mares.
It was Ryan and Mares. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And before we played them the first time, I walked up to the table and Ryan was wearing a shirt that said Mind Games. And as soon as I walked up to the table, he started telling me how bad he was going to beat me. And I'm like, oh, is that right? I'm like, I like your shirt. It says Mind Games. You like to play Mind Games? He said, yeah, I do. I said, oh, yeah. Well, you may think different of that here in a little while.
That's right. It was Mares. That's right.
Yeah. And we went on to beat them a very good match ball. It was a well played match. But then there was some stuff that went on after the match, and Rob asked me why I have to talk to him the whole time and blah, blah, blah. So the next time we played him, we didn't talk to him at all, and we 3-straighted him.
Wow.
And this is Rob Mares, your former world championship partner as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you remain to this day very good friends with Robbie. I think you guys recently
Absolutely.
played again for the first time in quite a long time. But that again takes us to that in 1996 doubles championship that you guys won. We talked about it earlier as well, and the incredible energy. You guys were not the favorites. It was Terry Moore and Bobby Itz were the favorites. They were the team to beat out on tour at that time, and you guys came with such energy.
I don't think you could have told us we weren't the favorites.
Oh, I know. I know that.
You know, it was pretty interesting, honestly, because I was in Colorado with Rob for a couple months, practicing, working with him, doing all the things I needed to be doing. We were playing Foos there. We were just dominating those guys in Colorado.
Mm.
Todd and Scotty, Bowers and Grant, Spear and whoever he played with. I mean, we were completely dominating them. As a matter of fact, we walked into that tournament room, and the guy from ESPN caught us as we were walking through the door, and it was me, Rob, and Scotty. And Scotty and Todd had just won back-to-back world championships, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
And
95. Yeah.
And the guy from ESPN was wanting to talk to Scotty, really. He's like, you don't need to be talking to me. These are the guys that are winning this tournament.
Oh. Wow.
So, I mean,
you made an impression on him in your visit to Colorado.
Obviously, but the thing was, we were playing good ball at that time. We had some great matches, though. I mean, the match for the winners bracket against Chesbro and Jeep, Jesus. They were like gum on our shoe. They just wouldn't go away, man.
Larry Chesborough, man. We don't hear that name enough, man. So I mean, talk a little bit about playing Larry Ches. What's that guy? I've watched him play.
That bar was phenomenal, you know.
Yeah.
His shot not so much, and thank God I played him not too long after that at a striker tournament. And it was a rollerball finals. It was me and Chalafo against him and Benitez. And this guy shot every freaking tic-tac combination pull kick, push kick. I mean, and just at blazing speed and power. Thank God he didn't do that in the open doubles. Dude. He shot his full shot.
Oh, man. I try to tell people, this guy, like Larry Ches was a supreme talent. He just dropped off, right? Stopped playing.
Yeah. Well, you'd never know it if you just watched him set up his pull shot all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, man. So, Tommy, let's talk a little bit about where your game is right now. If you had to self-identify your weaknesses, because we see flashes of it, and this is what makes you a master, is you still pull off wins against top pros, like, you know, beating Kevin Romero, and Kevin Romero is seriously on the upswing. You and Kathy together, by the way. Those are wins that masters pull off. It shows you're dangerous and can beat anyone at any time. What's missing is the consistency, right? So I believe you can win another open world title. I believe you can. You got to put some things together. So I guess expose yourself a little bit. What are your weaknesses?
It's definitely my shot right now. You know, my shot is so inconsistent. It may be there for a couple games. It may be there for one game. Yeah. You know, it just I take big breaks on my 3-rod. I get stuck.
I would agree with you. I would say that whatever it is, fatigue, over time, just losing some pace on stuff. I don't think your 3 bars aged as well as the rest of your game. We might have talked about this not long ago. Your rollover, which was brutal in the early 90s when people didn't have comfortable defenses. So what do you want to do, man? How do you want to modify, or do you have some ideas?
Well, the main thing for me is I got to put in time. I haven't put in the time. I haven't practiced my 3-rod. You know, I haven't practiced at all. That's changing. After the Bardo, I'm going to Colorado to stay with Rob for a while.
Cool.
and I'll get my fill of practicing. I promise you.
That's awesome. Hey, Kathy,
No one does it quite like he does.
Yeah, no doubt. Kathy, I got a question for you. It's been really, really lovely to see you playing again, and I love your game. I mean that. It's my kind of goalie game when I see you playing goalie. I even got to see you play some forward a little bit, shoot a rollover and throw the rod. Are you back? Are you going to be playing a lot more? Talk about your plans with foosball coming up?
I hope so. I had planned after we had Gavin in 2007. I'd planned on not playing until he was in middle school. So he's 14. He's getting ready to start high school, and I would love to come back. I mean, that's what my ultimate goal is. I want to get back out on tour. I have a boss now who's sympathetic, so hopefully you'll see more of me.
Cool. Speaking of Gavin, is he showing an interest in playing foosball as well?
Not at all.
None at all?
Not even a little bit.
Wow. Now, what's his opinion of his folks? I mean, how does he feel about you guys playing foosball?
Well, we went to Portland for the Moneyball, and we brought Gavin with us, and he'd never. I mean, he knows his dad is a good foosball player, but he doesn't. He doesn't keep up with any of that. And This was Tommy's first time ever to go to Oregon. So, all those people that have seen him, they never played him or got to meet him or anything. They were all coming up, and he was signing autographs and stuff. And it kind of made a big impression on Gavin. So I think he sees his dad a little bit different now, and it was a pretty cool thing to see. I'm glad I got to experience it.
Right.
So I don't know. I think he thinks different now about it, and he understands why. I think it's kind of a big deal for us to get to go.
Yeah, no, it seems at the age of 14, especially, there should be some kind of, I mean, I guess when we're teenagers, we kind of look at our parents as like, fogies. And
They're goobers.
Yeah,
right?
What? Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Really?
Goobers,
They do that? Kids do that?
Get ready, Jim.
No.
Get ready. Jim and Mark are going to experience that very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, you guys are listening to FoosTalk Live. We're talking with Tommy and Kathy Adkisson. If you'd like to call in and participate in this conversation, if you have any questions for the Hall of Famer Tommy or his future Hall of Famer wife, perhaps, in Kathy, and if she continues to play on a regular basis, I don't have any doubt that's going to happen. Kathy's just an outstanding player. But, Tommy, we had a chance back in 2007 to watch you compete for Team USA at the World Championships in St. Vincent, Italy, the only time we've ever seen you travel overseas, I believe, to compete. What are your memories of that experience in Italy that year?
Well, I have a couple that stick out to me. I was playing on Bonzini, like early, and I had the doorknob handle, and I barely beat this guy in the qualifier. And then after the match, I'm like, man, those handles are terrible. How do you play with those things, And everyone's laughing at me. Well, come to find out, you can get your own handle. But Harry didn't tell me that, I'm like, dude, why didn't you tell me that? He's like, because I want you to qualify.
Terry. I love that. That's awesome.
You're good. You're good, buddy. You're good, buddy. Terry Moore. Yeah.
Yeah. Always looking out for himself. But I remember the match against Wolfgang. That was a pretty heated match that went right down to the wire. I think that was to get to the finals, maybe.
Wolfgang Gressler, from Austria.
Yeah.
What about the crowds? Because there were crowds around every one of your matches, and you were doing your thing. But I mean, you had the biggest crowds of the weekend. Billy Pappas couldn't compete with you as far as crowds. Fred, talk a little bit about your experience in terms of people knowing you, about that international scene, that sort of Olympic Village sort of feel to it, and just how you responded to having all these people so interested in what you were doing.
Well, it's definitely like nothing we've experienced over here. You have to experience that once at least for yourself. The crowds are, God, there's just so many more people.
Electric.
It's a different I mean, if you can't get energized for that, you're not getting energized for anything.
Yeah. Do you have any interest, do you think, in competing again in the future, potentially for Team USA? Is that something that maybe you'd look at doing again?
I might look at going to Spain, maybe.
Cool.
Well, don't go to Spain because the tournament's going to be in France. But
if they go to Spain again, I might look at going.
Just go to Spain. What the heck? Let's just go to Spain. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah. I don't know about France.
Yeah, next year's World Cup, and I think in the future probably maybe France, Germany, and maybe someday we'll get one here in the United States. But it was really a unique experience for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I might look at going to Germany. Maybe France doesn't appeal to me really.
They're really good croissants. The croissants are really good.
Kathy, do you want to go to France? Because the World Cup's in France next year, and if you want to go to France, let's party. And maybe Tommy will come party with us if you come.
Maybe.
I'd love to go to France. I got a little French.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
We've got the selections are going to be made soon for the American team, and I think if Kathy was to throw her hat into the ring, I think there's a pretty good chance she would be selected for the women's team.
Hey, does anyone have that match, Tommy against that Wolfgang match?
I think it might be. Yeah, it might be on the site. We definitely have the 2007 ITSF Worlds, I believe, on the site, and I think maybe that match is on there. I can check for you if you'd like.
I have never seen that match.
If it was recorded.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it was.
That's all. That's too bad. I heard it was awesome. It was a great match.
It was a good match.
Who'd you hear that from?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, Tommy, I've got a question for you, and I think this is something we asked pretty frequently on FoosTalk Live. But you, at the status of a grandmaster, someone who's really done it all and been there, I'm wondering what kind of advice would you give to players coming up? And let's say an example would be like a Sullivan Rue or Sammy Dijon, that kind of thing. What would you say to those youngsters about having a successful career in foosball? What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I think those two are going to be just fine.
Okay.
Without any advice.
Okay.
But if I could tell them anything, it's just, take something away from every match, win or lose.
Mm-hmm. Always learn.
Don't stop learning. When you stop learning, that's when you're in trouble.
Right. When those the mistakes that you make, you take away and bring back to you bring back home to practice, and then of course return and not make those mistakes again. Is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely. You take something away from every match, win or lose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
A lot of people they only look at their losses.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn something even from matches you win.
We could say that to Mark Torres right about now because you're the reason he quit foosball.
It's not true. But anyway, I would have Terry Moore call him and just say, "Hey, you're never going to amount to nothing," and then watch.
There you go.
I got a question for both of you. I want Kathy to answer it first, and then Tommy. I asked this question to those world champions and masters in my mind that have gotten over the hump. We both know, all of us have talked about it over and over, that the gap between being a pro, the gap between being an expert and a pro is a small margin, but the gap between being a pro and a real master is a chasm. And in my mind, masters, I don't care about points. Points to me are nonsense. Masters are people that win world championships against the top competition, win majors. In my mind, that's what masters are. So I don't care how many points you got or how you got them. Means zero, less than zero to me. Okay, after all that diatribe. Kathy, you're a world champion, and then Tommy next. A lot of reasons why people don't win is because the decision making when the pressure is on. The master player, however they do it, and I've asked this of a dozen people, and one day we'll make a montage from the show. They execute under pressure because of what's going on between the ears, not because of practice or skill, because the pro and the master are relatively equal. It's what's the mental approach that allows them to execute under pressure. So Kathy, you first. What goes on in your head, even if it's nothing, that allows you to win championships because you perform under pressure? And then Tommy, you're next.
Well, it has a lot to do with what's going on in the match. I don't know. I don't really think about it. Honestly, it's probably why I make mistakes. I should think about it more often, but I don't know. I'm thinking about what I've been shooting, what they've been blocking. I mean, I just try to be logical and analytical about it, and that kind of takes my nerves away, I guess.
You break it down to tactics. You're not worried about the situation, the pressure of it. Will I win? Will I lose? You're breaking it down to the strategies, which really says a lot, doesn't it?
It does. It's a great answer. Yeah, it's a great answer. How about you, Tommy?
All right, for me, I don't like to be in those situations and not already know what's going on. I like to save and work around things for those exact moments.
Now, there's stories we've heard from other pro masters where back in the TS days they would keep notebooks on each other. Do you do that?
Yes, I keep it in my head.
Nice.
I've shared a lot of those with Rob. He does have a notebook.
Yeah.
But a lot of that came from in my memory. You know, I keep a log of a lot of the players.
You do,
but it's all in my head.
Yeah, you do seem to have a remarkable, almost photographic style memory, because of the recall. Like tonight, you've been talking about matches from the '90s. You remember what kind of shot won the match?
Do you remember a match against Mark Torres at Starbucks in 1993?
No.
Do you remember that
It
one?
was actually 92 when the Nationals.
It was 92. I thought it was too. I thought it was 92.
That was a test because I knew it was 92. I wanted to test it.
Right, Mark. Thanks.
Yeah, Adrian and Swan actually won that tournament, the big tournament, the Nationals.
Yeah.
See, I was there. Those are my guys. Adrian, I don't remember that. So I was at that tournament, obviously, with Ken Lowe. I won a table. We won highest places in whatever amateur team in open doubles. But
congratulations, Mark. It didn't help.
You don't still have the table.
But let's get back. Let's stop making this about me. I'm tired of making it about me. Tommy does.
Are you really though?
I think Tommy does have eidetic photographic memory recall because even right now he knew Adrian and Swan won that tournament. I have no clue who won that tournament. I can't remember.
It's brutal. Try living with it.
No.
Yeah.
Tell.
Hey,
this
here's
is juicy.
Tommy, I got another one for you. And I asked this question. I want other people to hear it. What's your I asked you what your favorite match was in Portland Moneyball, and you talked about a match that wasn't even an open match. Your favorite win wasn't even. You weren't even a pro. So talk about your favorite memory of winning a match.
I have a lot of favorite memories. You know, of course, '93 was big. The mixed doubles with Kathy was a big one. We ran the gauntlet in that. But some of my favorite wins were before I was even a pro, you know. I had a Nationals where I was, I think it was 1990 in Tampa, Florida, where I won, I guess it was novice singles, novice doubles, and novice mixed. Beat Bobby in the finals of all three.
Jeez. Wow. Man.
What about the Johnny singles? Was that at Masters?
No, that was
when you were like 14.
That was at the Midwest Open. That was a tournament here in Oklahoma City.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, and that was against, you say, Johnny Horton?
Yeah, I beat him match ball, and the whole time he had been screaming, "I'm a bad man." Well, I scored match ball. I scored a dead bar long on him, a meatball, and I ran around the table yelling, "I'm a bad boy."
I love it.
That had to be a really fascinating matchup when you would face Johnny Horton. What are some other memories you have of facing Horton, who was also such a great showman among other things?
I had a lot of great matches against Johnny. You know, I studied Johnny. I watched Johnny. Johnny was probably the best player, I think, at the time when I was coming up. Now, he didn't get to play all the tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was between Johnny and Steve. But I don't know. I love Steve, but I like Johnny's flair. You know, sometimes he'd take it overboard a little. Sometimes,
No way.
Really?
And he
Come
didn't
on.
always get to finish the tournament.
Yeah.
There's a lot of world champions out there because Johnny forfeited in the semis.
Yeah, well, that's a great point.
So,
That's a
okay,
great. Yeah, what? He obviously a Hall of Fame career, but what would he have been? You know, if
Oh,
he had
God,
not
who
have been-
knows?
spent years on the list of not being able to play, or for those events where he got forfeited out. You know, what a resume he would have put together.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a music comparison. If Johnny Horton were Elvis Presley, who would you be, Johnny?
Oh, God.
Sinatra.
I was thinking like Hank Williams. I was thinking more Hank
Hank
Williams.
Williams. Yeah. I could go with Hank Williams.
Okay. I dig it.
I can live with that.
Ozzy Osbourne. Somebody just
Not
Ozzy.
Ozzy. Pass.
I'd be Prince, but the ruffled
you
shirt
would.
days.
You got a long ways before you become Prince, brother.
No,
Well done.
It's just a ruffled shirt and a Jerry curl,
Image
bro. Gotta let
of
your
Prince.
soul glow.
Yeah.
Prince is
Still
one of
the
the
best
greatest,
smack
man.
talker in the business,
Prince
Tommy
wannabe.
Adkisson, no doubt.
I love it.
A lot of people don't know all the stuff that Prince wrote,
That's right.
songs and
Yeah.
stuff.
You're
you know.
right.
I do. I'm a huge Prince fan. I mean, I'm a big.
No, it's
So Tommy, you know, looking forward, obviously you're still a top player. You're still a top 5, top 10 player on the tour. You know, what do you see coming up here in the next year or two? What are your goals? What do you see happening? Are you going to continue to tour on a regular basis? What's going on with you in the near future?
Well, we're definitely going to knock it out for the rest of this year. We're going to see what me and Rob can do at the Worlds.
cool.
You
Nice.
know, we're playing the Bardo, and then we're going from there, like I said, to his house. And we'll see what happens at the Worlds.
That's great news. So we'll see you next
Definitely
week in
looking for-
Austin, and you and Rob. I love that. Love you guys
Austin.
as a team, no question.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely looking for a better finish than we had at the Texas State.
Oh, you guys came to Texas State. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't.
Ooh, who's talking crap now? I'm talking
Damn.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, you know, and again, you know, as we go back to the beginning of the show, talking about you and Kathy playing together, I love watching you guys play together, and I'm assuming you're going to continue to play mixed doubles together at the very least. But
Yes.
again, to be able to, and it's something that my wife and I have talked about, how difficult it is to do what you guys are doing. Mark and I, of course, focused on it intently up in Portland earlier in the year. But it's so admirable to see the kind of relationship that you two have as a couple, as a team, and how both are pretty much the same. You got to imagine, and you said it earlier, Tom, you know, communication and being, you know, being a good teammate.
Chemistry.
That matters in chemistry. That matters in a marriage as well. And it's, again, a testament to why you guys are still to this day, you know, one of the great foosball couples. So from me to you guys, I salute you. Look forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully, Kathy, you're going to be down there as well. But continued best of luck to you guys, both as a couple, as a family, and as foosball players as we move forward.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow. So Tommy and of course Kathy, I hope to see you guys at Worlds. FoosTalk Live is going to be set up there live. Could we get even a preliminary commitment that we could sit down and talk live?
Sure.
Cool. That'd be awesome. Love to get a chance to meet you guys in person.
Tom's a nicer guy, and he's even a nicer guy in person. So, so I look forward to that. To you guys sitting down as well at Worlds as we kind of come out of what has been a difficult year, and everybody's starting to begin to play, and that the whole community sort of thing is coming alive here in this country and now overseas as well. So, looking forward to some great things, and that's going to include you guys in that mix.
Mark, I'd be careful trying to outdrink Blake.
I'm not worried. I'm actually not worried about it at all.
Yeah, I'd be careful, buddy.
I'm not worried.
Yeah.
About it. I'm sorry.
And the winner of that one faces you, Tommy, in the final. I know.
Well, Blake grew up with me and Bill, so
I spent 2 years drinking vodka 3 or 4 days a week out of business meetings in Asia. And let me tell you, this is fallacy, right? In Asia, they've got their alcohol refinement down to like a 2,000 year process. So that alcohol's it's like coffee in Eastern Europe. You drink that slushy mud
Right.
in Eastern Europe. So I'm not worried about it. I'm happy. I won't make the same illusions about you. I think it might be a good fight with you because I saw you soaking wet on the beach after drinking all night long.
Yeah, I got Tommy. I got Tommy in that one.
That's
So
I'm very
Blake can
curious.
hang with me, I'll tell you that.
Oh
So.
my God! Yeah, you guys.
I'm ready.
When
Let's
you're
go.
playing Tony Sprademan and Bud Sprademan, that was a very interesting match, by the way, in the sense that you kept taking, what was it, like 5 timeouts, 5 or 6 timeouts?
Beach Town Beatdown.
Yeah,
Beach Town Beatdown. The
Yep.
one of a kind
It's a
tournament.
fun tournament.
And there was a lot of alcohol being passed around. That was fascinating. How you guys played through that?
Blind, Tom. Trust me, it's a blind experience.
And from now on, since that tournament, at every tournament moving forward, timeouts are for sale. You can buy timeouts from your opponent moving forward. New rule, Tom. New rule.
That is awesome. You can buy a timeout. That is
It's at least negotiable, right?
Absolutely.
I love it.
I had no problem with it.
It's looking forward to that next year, of course, with the Beach Town Beatdown. We'll all get together there for sure. Well,
yeah, don't make threats you can't follow up on. Yeah, us too. That was a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of fun so far as we've gotten back out on tour. Looking forward to next week, of course, a tournament that means so much to everybody, and looking forward to seeing you there. And thanks again, guys, for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So Tom and Kathy Adkisson, we have reached the pinnacle of our careers here at FoosTalk Live. We finally got these guys on the air, and I got to say, I'm so happy that you guys joined us, and looking forward to talking to you again really soon in person.
Tom says that to everybody, though. If we get like Jeep here next week, I was going to say anything about Jeep.
Come on, you steal my thunder. I can't do anything with Mark around. I just can't do it.
That's about what my 3-rod looks like nowadays.
Well,
best smack talker in the business, no doubt about it.
There you go.
All right, guys. Hey, we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Looking forward to not only the drinking battle with Mark Torres, but maybe a little Tommy Adkisson karaoke as well.
Ooh.
I can do
Oh, that's a real threat right there. That is
a threat.
I could do like Tone Loc or something.
Oh yeah, that's happening. You guys, it's going to be live band and karaoke at the Bardo. So Kathy, get tuned up. Tommy, I'm going to do a Prince song just for you.
All right, I'm in.
Nice.
Right,
yeah.
cool.
Wearing the frills. Bring your shirt, Mark.
Let's get it on videotape, guys. Make sure we get it out there for
I'm
the
going to
public.
I'm going to buy a blouse right now at Forever 21 just for this.
I'll get me a scooter to cruise through there on.
Oh man, something to look forward to for sure.
This is what the sport is missing, by the way. We need this kind of entertainment. This is
Do we really?
too
Though?
serious
Do we
about
really?
Wow.
Oh boy, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, guys, knock them dead on the table, and we'll see you soon on the table. But again, thanks to Tommy Adkisson and Kathy for taking the time out to talk to us on FoosTalk Live. Very kind, and of course, fantastic players. And of course, we're grateful for all the entertainment you've brought to us over the years.
Looking back on the 66 episodes that we've had so far with so many of the unique individuals from our sport, the stories that have been told, the memories that have been shared, we are compiling a history of the sport here at FoosTalk Live, with the memories of so many great players, so many people who experienced all the different eras of foosball. And that continued tonight, no doubt about it.
Wow.
Well, I'll say that Tommy shows a level of maturity and seasoning and diplomacy in his delivery now. Go see him at the Bardo after like 40 drinks, and you get to hear some of the inside story. You get to hear some of the backgrounding of some of this stuff, and the delivery is a lot different, and it's very entertaining.
The bathroom in New Orleans in 1993.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. No, what a great show tonight. And again, thanks to the Adkissons for showing up and being with us on FoosTalk Live. And thanks to you guys as well. Another great show.
Yeah, excited about seeing you guys next
Yeah,
week.
oh man. Guys, we'll be talking to you live from the Bardo next weekend right here on FoosTalk Live. And in the meantime, to close our show out this evening, we do want to once again thank the contributors to the Inside Foos Kickstarter campaign. And this evening, we want to pay tribute to those in the diamond level. And so we'll finish the show off with that. But in the meantime, we will see you next week live from the Bardo in Austin, Texas. And thanks for tuning
Tom,
in.
one last thing. I want to send out prayers and well wishes to Kathy Brainerd, who's not doing well right now. And so just you're in our thoughts and prayers to Kathy Brainerd and family and friends. Just know we're thinking of you.
Yeah, ditto. One of the great foosball people of all time, a woman who, of course, was a great player on the TS Tour and then promoted the sport. Really, when TS died in 1981, she picked up, the tour. She created a new tour, the Pro-Built Dynamo Tour that went from about 82 to 85 or 86. And she really helped to save the sport back then and has contributed so much through her writing, through her being a diplomat for the sport, obviously as a player, as her involvement with the Hall of Fame, etc. One of the great foosball people of all time, and our wishes and hearts and go out to her and her family up in the Pacific Northwest.
No
for
doubt.
sure.
No, very sad situation, and hopefully she will improve, perhaps, but we'll see.
We love you, Kathy. We love you.
Yep. Thank you so much for that, guys. But FoosTalk Live will return next week live from Austin, Texas, and in the meantime, we will catch you next week. We'll see you on the tape. The team at Inside Foos will always be grateful to our fans, subscribers, and especially those who pledged whatever they could to the Inside Foos Kickstarter campaign. Your pledge is used to replace and add to aging equipment, innovate the presentation of tournaments, upgrade our software platforms, support typical day-to-day expenses, and deliver a high-quality product back to our community, the way Inside Foos has done it for 28 years. It's time now for InsideFoos.com and FoosTalk Live to give a shout-out to our generous donors. Here are the names of those who contributed $400 or more. Thank you to our diamond-level donors to the Inside Foos Kickstarter campaign. Thank you to Jerry Todd, Brian King, Foos Pixie, James Provost, Steve Biney, Jordan Hartshorn, Sissy Whipple, Keith Glenn, Mark Winker, Jean Christophe Fossati, Jim Waterman, and Foosball.com. With 99 contributors to the Inside Foos Kickstarter campaign, we are overwhelmed with gratitude. Keep listening as we continue to bring our supporters into the spotlight through InsideFoos.com and FoosTalk Live. FoosTalk Live is a product of Inside Foos, all rights reserved. Brought to you in part by InsideFoos.com, Protectoflex, 518 Prince, Foosballers the Movie, Foosball Clubs USA, and the USTSO. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live. In the meantime,
we'll see you foozin'.